When AJ Styles debuted at Royal Rumble 2016, he was going to change everything. But sometimes to get started in WWE, you need a good feud. And your first feud is make it or break it for most of the wrestlers. But thanks to Jericho, he saved us at AJ Styles. So let's see how AJ Styles vs Chris Jericho saved AJ Styles' career. Now we all know AJ Styles debuted at Royal Rumble 2016. He was in the match for almost 29 minutes until got eliminated by Kevin Owens. Everybody thought that his first feud was going to be against Kevin Owens. But no, we were wrong. His first feud was against Chris Jericho, and even his first match on television was against Chris Jericho, which happened on the night after Rumble on Raw. So the match was set against Chris Jericho, but before the match there was one backstage interview with AJ Styles where AJ Styles was introducing himself, but Chris Jericho interrupted that interview and he was basically appreciating him. And then they moved on to the match. The match was obviously going to be great, and AJ Styles defeated Chris Jericho by a pinfall. After the match, AJ tried to shake hands with Jericho and Chris Jericho did, but the way he did felt like this is not going to end here. The handshake was not about respect, more about I'm coming for you. On next SmackDown, AJ Styles didn't have any interaction with Chris Jericho. He just had a simple match with Curtis Axel where he performed a Styles Clash to win the match. But on the next Raw, AJ Styles was called on the Miz TV where he attacked the Miz because he insulted AJ Styles. Because of this, a match sets up against AJ Styles versus the Miz, and here comes the role of Chris Jericho. Chris Jericho was asked about his loss against AJ Styles, where he again appreciated AJ Styles on his performance. On the next SmackDown, AJ Styles faced the Miz because of AJ's previous attack on Miz TV. AJ Styles defeated the Miz by a calf crusher, and then Chris Jericho, who was sitting on the commentary table, gets up and says,
"We know you're good, but are you great?"
Chris Jericho raises some questions for AJ Styles like, are you great and do you have what it takes to become a WWE champion? And Chris Jericho again challenges AJ Styles for a rematch, and the match was set. But before the match, on Raw, Jericho was called on Miz TV, and he turns that Miz TV into his own show, the highlight reel. The Miz was angry, but AJ Styles also appeared on that segment, and angry Miz attacked Chris Jericho, but AJ Styles came and helped Jericho to beat the Miz. Then AJ and Jericho started fighting, but it was a small fight. And then comes the match day. It was AJ Styles vs Chris Jericho rematch on SmackDown, but this time Chris Jericho won the match by a code breaker. Jericho looked so happy. Now after this, you won't believe what happened next. On next SmackDown, AJ Styles and Chris Jericho again went for a rematch, typical WWE booking. But Social Outcast, which was the team of Heath Slater, Bo Dallas, Curtis Axel and Adam Rose, interrupted their match because they wanted to change the match, and the match was changed into AJ and Jericho versus Social Outcast. The first time AJ and Jericho teamed up together, and obviously they won the match by AJ Styles doing a phenomenal forearm. But when Jericho and AJ were standing together, Chris Jericho performed a code breaker. On next Raw, AJ Styles faced the Miz. AJ Styles was angry and defeated the Miz by calf crusher. But after the match, Chris Jericho came. AJ Styles immediately challenges Chris Jericho for a Fastlane match and said this:
"Chris Jericho was beaten by me in my first match."
But Jericho said we'll see about it on SmackDown. On next SmackDown, Chris Jericho faced the Miz, and he defeated the Miz easily by walls of Jericho. But now AJ Styles came after the match to get his answer for the rematch, but Jericho denied it, said no. AJ Styles thought about a second and gave some brutal punches to Chris Jericho, and then Jericho accepted the rematch at Fastlane. Now the time comes. Chris Jericho went one-on-one against AJ Styles at Fastlane 2016, match number 3, and yes, AJ Styles again defeated Chris Jericho by a Styles Clash. But this time, Chris Jericho respectfully shook hands with AJ Styles after the match. This handshake felt like we are heading towards a tag team, and that's what they did. AJ Styles and Jericho formed their tag team named Y2AJ on Raw, and they both faced Social Outcasts in a tag team match which they easily won by walls of Jericho. This was looking a solid tag team. They had also teamed up with Mark Henry to take on the New Day in a 6-man tag team match in which AJ Styles' team won. After this, Y2AJ started a feud with the New Day, and they challenged New Day for the tag team championships, but unfortunately Y2AJ lost when Big E gave a big ending to Jericho. AJ Styles was trying to pick Jericho up after the match, but unexpectedly Jericho gives a code breaker to AJ Styles, betrays AJ. After this, Jericho gave 3 code breakers to AJ and forced the Y2AJ's t-shirt in AJ Styles' mouth. When Chris Jericho was asked why he did it, he said this:
"All they're chanting is AJ Styles."
On next SmackDown, Jericho burned the Y2AJ t-shirt, officially breaking up the tag team. After this, Chris Jericho faced Neville on one episode of Raw. This time, AJ angrily came and gave a phenomenal forearm to Chris Jericho. On next episode of SmackDown, AJ Styles faced Kevin Owens, but this time Chris Jericho came and did some kind of distraction. Kevin Owens took advantage of it and won the match. The next week, again same thing happened with AJ Styles, Jericho's distraction, and Kevin Owens winning the match. Now after these distractions, Jericho always used to tease AJ Styles by saying this:
AJ Styles! AJ Styles! AJ Styles! AJ Styles!
After this, Jericho took on Fandango on an episode of Raw, and this time AJ pulled a move from Jericho's book by saying this:
Y2 jackass.
These distractions didn't affect Jericho. He defeated Fandango and ran away from AJ Styles. But AJ Styles challenged Jericho for a WrestleMania match. On next Raw, Jericho faced Zack Ryder. But AJ Styles interrupted the match and said this:
I'm not leaving here tonight until I get the match I want at WrestleMania.
The match was on and AJ Styles distracted Jericho by his Y2 jackass chants, and Zack Ryder won the match. But after this, Jericho accepted WrestleMania challenge, and after this we went to WrestleMania 32. WrestleMania 32, AJ's first WrestleMania, and he is going one-on-one against the legendary Chris Jericho. And guess what? Everybody expected AJ is going to win the match, but at the end, Jericho won by a code breaker. And this was the end of the rivalry. Now I know this was not any sort of magic, but this feud was a really good start for AJ Styles' WWE career. AJ Styles gave his best, and even AJ lost this feud, he still won a lot of championships after this feud. Major props to Jericho, man, what a legendary superstar he is. And that's it for the video, guys. I hope you liked this video. Till then, see you soon.